Hey everyone, this is Kenny and this is day number 50 of 100 days of making comics. I'm halfway there. It's hard to believe I've made it this long without missing a day or putting my time in each day. I'm pretty excited and happy that I've stuck to my guns and did what I had to do regardless of work. Things happening each and every day in life that you have no control of, but I still got my time in each day. So even if something happens down the road, I can say I went 50 days straight working on my Slayer comic in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be script, working on the cover, coloring it, penciling, inking it, whatever, thumbnails, and I feel like I've grown a lot in several different areas. I've put a lot more thought into a lot of stuff, not just drawing, into marketing, getting a game plan together, a lot of different things. I feel like I've studied a little more and researched and put a lot of thought into even the videos. A lot of times I'm just rambling on and tired or sleepy and not making a lot of sense, not very coherent, but at the same time I do try to plan out somewhat each video and what I'm going to talk about to an extent. I feel like I've got more comfortable doing so, doing these in front of the camera. It's been really a cool little journey so far, and I'm looking forward to the next 50 days. I worked on the last page of the thumbnails. Didn't quite get it exactly like I wanted. I'm going to go back and tighten up one panel that was I wanted to change the angle of it, so I'm going to go in and do that when I get done with the video. Can't show the last two pages of thumbnails though, because I don't want to give the whole book away. Even the small thumbnails, a lot of people can decipher what's going on, and want to leave have a little something left as a surprise to people that's interested in the book, which it'll look totally different once it's penciled full size, but at the same time I don't want to give a lot of the story away. I said today I was going to show a lot of my small press work I've done. So I've got the camera set up so my hands are free. I'm going to show you some stuff I worked on in my small press days when I was still kind of learning and practicing, honing my skills, and it was a real fun time though, because believe it or not, back then there wasn't a lot of internet going on. It was in the I guess it was the late 90s to early 2000s. I did my Slayer one shot in 96. I worked on it in 95 and come out in 96. I may have flipped through this book before. Yeah, 96. Pretty cheap print job. Got a great deal on it though, so I can't complain. It's my first ever published work. It's pretty rough though, but I've learned a lot since then. Learned not to ink with markers. I've learned more about perspective and cleaner lines, ink lines, anatomy, so all that stuff. Work looms, lettering. I hand lettered back then. There's a pin up here. I think I've showed this before. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Another page. I don't know if you can see it good, but this was my next publication. Self-published this. It was this cheap print job. This was even older artwork. little short story I did. This is 98 is when I did this, but this is when it was printed in 98, but the artwork maybe a couple years earlier. It's X-Pulse. It's another one of my characters. This is my first appearance of X-Pulse. If you have a copy of this, please burn it, because I'm trying to revamp all my characters. I'll try to show you best that I can. And all this was done with Sharpie markers and, you know, heat pens and stuff. It's pretty rough. A lot of mistakes made doing this book. I don't know if you can see really good there. And then I did issue 2. And I was working on issue 3, and I decided to scrap it. And that's when I focused on redoing the character, rewrote the script. And artist friend of mine, Lyle Pollard, drew 3 issues of that. And issue 1 was printed in black and white. Issue 2 and 3 got put on the back burner. I just recently resubmitted issue 1 to be printed in color. Waiting on those books. Issue 2 is being colored now. I lettered it a while back. I don't even know if you can see a lot of this, but yeah, this was the early days of X-Pulse. Anyway, I'm not gonna hurt your eyes too much looking at that old stuff. This was a book, I found out about it through Small Press Comics Explosion was a review zine. They reviewed a lot of small press books and had contact info, and you would order the book. Some people would list, you know, the price or trade for your book. So a lot of people took trades back then. You traded your comics, your mini comics, digest comics, whatever. And a lot of people accepted trades, and it was cool that people would swap their books like that. It was a great way to network and meet other artists doing the stuff, you know, doing the stuff that you was doing, like small press, and it was pretty cool to. And a lot of these people, you would do pinups for them, they would do pinups for you. I mean, it was real easy to get along with and do a little work. And they just wanted to do a pinup for you. They didn't want to charge you or anything. So this was Anthologian Chronicles by Ronson Butler. I did a few pinups for him. I'll show you some of the design. It's got a really manga influenced book. I always really liked. I think these was inked by a guy named what's his name? Dan. Let me see, maybe here. Ronson Butler was the penciler. Dan Kellaway was the inker, and he did a really great job inking this. This pinup is mine here. I did it for him. And this one is mine. There's another. This was series he launched after this one, Anthologian Dreams. Had 2 pinups in this book. This one and this one. It's 2 of his characters. Yeah, you can hopefully you can see the improvement. I was still inking with markers for the most part back then. There's another Anthologian Dreams. And he had a lot of characters in his book. huge database of characters. I don't know how he kept up with it, but did this pin up for him here. This is a book called 365 Women. It was this pin-up book of, see, April, you know, I think it said April 16th. Every page was a day of a month, April 17th. And basically he was going to do these until he did 365 women, you know. I have a, I'll have to cover that up. But this one's my contribution. I edited it, just edited it for television. Here's another one I did. It was just heavy pencil drawing. Yeah, it's all edited for TV. It's another issue he did. I think this one I actually contributed to before that, the previous one I just showed you. Yeah, it's a lot older artwork there. A samurai chick. Yeah, it's pretty rough looking there. Don't laugh too much at it. This is a book called Fantasy Theater by J. Kevin Carrier. I did this, he featured it in his letters page, some fan art I did right here of his character Gloriana. This is a book I did called Blade. I did the artwork for it for Firebird Press. It's a mini comic. Sherman Burnett was the writer and creator. I'll flip through some pages. This is some sequential stuff I did. All this is my artwork here. It's kind of a Punisher type character. It's like maybe his version of the Punisher, but he's kind of like got a cybernetic. I think he's got like a cybernetic eye and crazy, like a photon gun or something, and a sword. I did all this artwork many years ago. This was all this was after I did the Slayer one shot, and I kind of went on a little hiatus before I published Slayer 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think I was working on them, but I was doing this stuff also. I don't know what all you can see. I'm not exactly sure what the camera's picking up and what it isn't picking up. And that wraps it up. It's another book by Sherman Burnett. It's Dark Lady mini comic. I did the cover right here, the small work there, and you can see Bill Quick did the interior art on that. I only did the cover. This was a great book. It was really fun. I hated to see them stop doing it. Miracle Force. I don't know if anybody recognizes it or remembers it. It was Jerry Smith, his creation. Awesome characters. I mean, it was just a fun book to read. I don't know whatever became of it, but I did the pin-up on the back cover. That was issue 9. Here's issue 11. I did a pin up in that also. Right here, interior back cover, right there. This goes back, way back. It says this was 96 when it was published, but yeah, it was X by Dark Horse Comics. I don't know who all. It's a Frank Miller cover. I was really a big fan, and I made it into the letters page. That's my drawing of X with ballpoint pen inks and magic, just plain magic marker coloring, and it's pretty crude. But I made it into a Dark Horse comic book. What else do we got? Okay, I'll show you some more artwork. This is all small press stuff. Some of this you just saw in the smaller books. This was a character for a book called Cammy and the Toad. He was like the villain. I forget what his name was, but he was kind of like a boar type character. Here's the back cover to the Miracle Force, the Jerry Smith's comic I did. There's the original art. Here's the other interior pinup I did. I don't think you saw this one. I may not have had this book out, but this was another one for Ronson Butler's Andalusian Chronicles. I did. It's kind of really manga influenced. There was a book called Holy Crawlers by Troy Hickman, and it went on to become an Image comic called Common Grounds. And this was a pinup I done of a character for him. I think it was Midnight Man, or I can't remember his name, but I liked the look of the character, so I sent him a pinup. But unfortunately, I don't think he got to print it because he stopped doing the book by the time I found out about it and sent him that. But it was a great book though to read, and it's no wonder it became an Image comic. This is a character called Greenpeace by Adam Owen was his name. I don't think he does those anymore. He's still a Facebook friend. I need to hit him up and see what he's working on now. This is a short story I did. I've never published this. It's called Monster Bash. Basically, it's all hand lettered and pretty crude, ink with markers. Basically, Dracula calls the Wolfman, and he says, "We need to get a party together. Get a party going because, today's generation has forgotten about us, so they're not scared of us anymore." He says he was looking for a victim in the park, and he said blah blah, and they're like, "Nice outfit, man. It's so goth." And he meets these two goth kids, and they just kind of like think he's super cool. So he's sad there because he didn't scare anybody, didn't put any fear in anyone. So he wants to have a party and to raise the dead, so to speak, with all the like the mummy shows up, Frankenstein. There's witches there, and anyway, then the party starts. It's kind of just a little comedy, basically, poking fun at stuff. And there's the nosy neighbor peeking out the window. And he's there talking to his wife, about all the noise they're making. They're disco dancing here. There's the Wolfman howling. Then who is this chick? Lonnie Glanderson is her name. And she introduces Funkenstein, the hip hop rapper. He gets up there rapping. The witch says something to Ozzy. Ozzy makes an appearance. I think he said they should play Crazy Train. Michael Jackson's even there. The Mummy. Let me go back to this one. He says, give it up for the Mummy. He says, break it down. He starts dancing. He pulls his cloth, spins him around, and shoots him out through the roof or something. Call the police. They come by for a disturbance, and I don't even know who this guy is, but he turns his head around. It's like, you have to speak up, I can't hear a thing. And he turns around and sees straight through his ears and brain. Yeah, he ran the police off. The neighbor decides to go over there. He bangs on the door and they say dessert has just arrived. So the neighbor's the dessert, in case you didn't get it. This was a pinup for a book by Jim Sumi called Bad Girls. There's two of his characters there, and then forget what this character's name was, but he was another character in it. But these girls, I think he later did another book called Turner and Eva and changed the name. That's their names. They're basically fighting. I think they're killing zombies, and it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic world where all kinds of crazy stuff's happening. This book I showed you earlier, Blade. This was issue 2, and he published that. He then published issue 3, and it was done by another artist. And then I took on duties for issue 4, which is right here. I don't think he's ever printed it, but I did. That was going to be the cover. That was page 1. There's no lettering here because he was going to do the lettering himself. It's been many years since I've done this. I want to say maybe 04 or something. I'm just going to show the pages because I don't think he's ever going to print this book. If he has, I don't know about it, but this is the artwork for that. Blade was captured by the police, and then he gets busted out by these other bad guys. I don't know who they are, but this is a female cop. He's a supporting character. These are some villains that's linked to Blade's past. I hope you can see all this. I know this is probably running long, and I apologize if it's coming across boring or anything. I figure someone wants to see this stuff, so I'll show it. You won't get another chance to see it again if you do want to see it. It's another page of sequentials. Some of it came out okay, I think, but I see it as a stepping stone to progress to doing better artwork. You gotta practice on sequentials, and that's mainly the reason I took on this little job. Is I wanted to get the practice in to better myself, and I've learned a lot since then, especially stuff like the building that door is off, it's not lined right perspective wise, and there's a lot of things that really smack me in the face when I look at it now that I could have improved on. It was small press, so that's what you get. when you deal with small press as amateurs, for the most part. But small press is a great way to hone your skills and work your way up the ladder to do more professional work. Here's another page. He broke out. Well, you see him on camera, so I think there's supposed to be an alarm going on here. I hope you can see all this. But anyway, that's the last page. It's to be continued. Another standoff. And that's the last ever done of that. I don't know whatever happened with I think Sherman Burnett. He's on my Facebook, but he's never really said what happened to the book, or if he plans to continue it or whatever. But that's the Gloriana piece that I did for Fantasy Theater. That arm is way too long. I really goofed that up. This is what was this book called? I think it was called Rumble Strips. And what was the girl? It was a girl. Basically, the girl who drew the book. Character is based off her. And she lived with this robot. And the two cats. And it was a pretty cool book. It wasn't full color. It was grayscale though, but it was really well done, and I enjoyed reading it. But I don't know what happened to that book either. This was a character by Steve Keeter. He's big into small press. He's been doing it for years. Great guy. I can't remember the name of the character right off the bat though. But I sent him that for his book. I don't know if he ever used it or not. Hard to say. You lose track of a lot of stuff like that when dealing with small press and stuff. The great thing back then though was you corresponded through the mail. You wrote each other, you got little letters. People write you a letter like, thanks for checking out my book, and I liked your book too. Here's a cool pin-up of your character. And a lot of these, I didn't, it was all freebies. You just want to do something for somebody else, and they'll do the same for you. It's kind of like paying it forward. It's a great experience to get into small press. I don't even know if, I'm sure it's around to an extent, but I think it's evolved a lot and changed in a lot of ways, especially with corresponding through the mail. I appreciate everyone who's keeping me, holding me accountable, and pushing me to continue to do better work and moving me forward. I appreciate the comments and stuff and the motivation. It means a lot, and I try to do the same for all of you guys and girls out there doing this. I'm gonna continue to do my best, and for the next 50 days I'm gonna try to improve even more and improve on the videos, on the artwork and everything. So until next time, I'll talk to you later. This is Kenny, and I've got to get some rest. Alright, take care. Peace.